Great to have you on the programme. Michael, how welcome is Emmanuel Macron right now? We'll talk about the new Prime Minister designate, but right now he's there on his second day of his visit. He's just met with Lebanese counterpart, Michel Aoun. Is everybody happy, including those politicians and the public?
You know, I think at this point, a lot of Lebanese are taking a wait-and-see approach. While there's no appetite in Lebanon for French intervention in the country, the extent to which the political class is distrusted and ultimately despised by a large proportion of the population, I think there's a lot of openness to this French proposal that there may not have been otherwise.
And back to the change of Prime Minister, what exactly does that mean for the public anger, the Lebanese street?
Yeah, I think as we've already seen in the country, the appointment of Mustafa Adib, who's a diplomat and somebody who has very little public record in Lebanon, has generally been met with a fairly high degree of skepticism, primarily because, again, there's this lack of trust that the political class in general is capable of actually reforming itself. Having said that, Adib is a respectable figure. He's been involved in many cultural projects in Lebanon, and in many ways he has a blank slate. At the same time, he is a former advisor to a former prime minister, and ultimately, if we look at the more structural issues, is that his selection comes essentially with the approval of 4 former prime ministers who are all millionaires or billionaires in the country. And this speaks to this issue of trust that is lacking, is that these decisions are being made in closed-door settings, behind closed doors, and without real consultation of the Lebanese people. So there is a high degree of skepticism towards the appointment. And
we hear that Lebanon needs $5 billion to rebuild. The French president has just said that he's, in the last hour, speaking to reporters, he's ready to host a Lebanon aid conference in October. Is that enough, or how much will that conference go towards rebuilding Beirut?
There's a lot of things that remain to be seen. With regards to promised money or potential money that may be coming from the international community, it remains to be seen whether or not this money will be forthcoming and whether or not it will actually be tied to substantial reforms in the country. Now, that in and of itself depends on a number of factors as well. Of course, being the success or potential success of this new prime minister. Most observers would point out that the chances for his success are probably not very high, but there remains, under certain conditions, a possibility that he may be able to push certain reforms. But there's a number of points that have to be kept in mind to understand to what degree this new prime minister may be able to actually push some things. One, currently we are unaware of the position of Hezbollah towards what these reforms may be and towards the French proposals. We still don't know exactly how the protest movement is going to react, although they are likely going to oppose his appointment. And thirdly, we don't really know what type of mandate and how much freedom he will be given to appoint cabinet members and to actually push these reforms that the country so badly needs. So while his chances are not particularly high, there remains some hope among some circles in Lebanon and amongst the international community that some of these reforms may be able to move forward.
Indeed, we hope so. Thank you so much for your time and your analysis, Michael Arnold.